no matter what I go through, you're the reason.
I don't know if you're aware of this recent situation of me finding the same thing about my father this year.
I was gonna go there.
I hadn't talked to my mother in over 23 years.
Kirk Franklin is now 54 years old. Did you know he just confirmed something many of us thought? Has his career and personal life been as successful as we expected? What has Kirk been up to recently? Many people admire him for his music and his honesty. In this video, we will explore Kirk Franklin's story, the rumors and the reasons behind his long silence. What does this mean for his fans and his music? Let's find out.
Knock, knock. You ready?
I'm ready.
Ready or not, here I come.
They're coming to get me. See, the nice nurse coming to get me. Tammy's here with me.
Kirk Franklin is known for his high energy on stage, but behind the scenes, things aren't always as easy as they seem. Recently, he opened up about some serious health issues he's been facing for years. Kirk has been dealing with chronic pain throughout his career, and it's tough for him. His job demands a lot of physical energy, and managing the pain while trying to keep up with his busy performance schedule has been a real challenge. One of the hardest moments in Kirk's life happened on November 1st, 1996, when he was only 26 years old. He was performing at a concert when he fell off the stage while introducing another artist, Yolanda Adams. Unfortunately, he fell into the orchestra pit and hit his head. The injury was so severe that he had to be rushed to the hospital, arriving with a blood-soaked shirt. Doctors put him in intensive care, and it was a scary time for him and his family. But despite the seriousness of his injury, Kirk stayed strong. He was lucky to have the love and support of his wife, which helped him heal. Fans from around the world also sent cards and well wishes, which lifted his spirits. Kirk was determined not to let the accident slow him down. Just 1 month after the fall, he made an amazing return by showing up at the Stella Awards, an important event in gospel music. Kirk's appearance at the Stella Awards was a big surprise and a huge moment of triumph. Not only did he make it, but he also won 5 awards that night, including the Artist of the Year award. When people asked him why he worked so hard to be there, Kirk boldly said, "I wanted to make a fool out of the devil." He didn't let the accident take away his joy or his faith. He proudly said, "You're not going to try to take my life and think I'm not going to praise God. I'm a living testimony." His words showed just how strong his spirit is and how much faith he has, even through the toughest times.
My first year of marriage, I was 26 years old when I sat down with my wife and told her, I said, "Hey, you're my best friend, and I want to talk to you about something."
Another of the biggest challenges he faced was his battle with pornography addiction. In his autobiography, Church Boy, Kirk opened up about this addiction, something many people didn't expect. His honesty shocked some, but it also helped many others who were going through the same thing. It showed that even someone as successful as Kirk can face serious problems. This issue affected his marriage and his faith, but instead of hiding from it, Kirk faced it head-on. This part of his life became an important part of his story.
He'd been hiding, and he said, it started when I was young, but I thought that marriage was going to fix it, but it hasn't. And he said, I am addicted to pornography.
Kirk married Tammy Collins in 1996. They had known each other for many years before becoming a couple. At the time of their marriage, Kirk had a son, Carrion, from a previous relationship. Tammy also had a daughter, Carrington, who joined the family when they got married. After their wedding, Kirk and Tammy had more children together. They have 3 kids, Kennedy, Keziah, and another son. Their family is large and full of love, but things haven't always been easy. Kirk's son, Carrion, from his earlier relationship with Kimberly Williamson, has faced challenges too, but he has always stayed close to his dad.
Man, don't give a fuck, nigga. Call me right. Okay, I'm bisexual. Call me that.
Tammy's daughter, Carrington, also brought joy to their family. The family felt complete when Kirk and Tammy had their first child together, Kennedy, in 1997. Kennedy is a talented singer and often performs with her dad. She's already making her own name in the music world, just like her father. In 2000, they welcomed another son, Keziah. It looks like Keziah has the same passion for music as his dad. Kirk has shared that his marriage to Tammy faced many tests, especially due to his addiction. This issue caused a lot of pain, but they worked hard to overcome it. Kirk said that going to counseling together really helped them. They leaned on their faith and trust in each other to get through the hard times. Another challenge they faced was dealing with rumors about cheating. Even though these rumors hurt their marriage, Kirk always said that he was faithful to his wife. Both Kirk and Tammy have been open about their struggles and how they got through them. They believe that their strong faith and commitment to each other helped them stay together. Their story is a reminder that, even in tough times, love and trust can make a relationship stronger. Tammy has been a big support for Kirk. She stood by him when he faced struggles and celebrated his successes with him. This support has been so important in their marriage. Kirk often praises Tammy for being his rock, helping him stay focused on what truly matters.
And it's been almost 30 years, 27 years.
Yes, y'all giving us
years.
3 extra, but
27, but you're gonna make it to 30 and beyond.
I don't know if you're aware of this recent situation of me finding the same thing about my father this year.
I was gonna go there.
I hadn't talked to my mother in over 23 years.
Kirk had a rough start from the very beginning. Recently, he opened up about his early life, and his story is quite emotional. Many people were surprised to hear what he went through as a child, which adds a deeper meaning to his music. Born on January 26, 1970, in Fort Worth, Texas. From the start, life was tough for him. Kirk was born to young parents who were not ready to take care of a child. Because of this, Kirk did not know who his father was, and his mother, unfortunately, abandoned him.
She grabbed his hand and said, "Come on, baby, let's go." And she walked out of the house on her 2 kids.
This was a heartbreaking moment in his life. After his birth, she left him at a church in Fort Worth, and that must have felt really sad for a newborn.
Shook my world. It has shaken my world. Even now, I'm still shooketh.
However, a twist of fate changed everything. Kirk's aunt, Gertrude Franklin, who was in her 60s, stepped in to help. She was a kind and religious woman. Gertrude took Kirk in as her own son and adopted him. This was the first bright spot in Kirk's tough childhood. She gave him the love and support he desperately needed. This is how Kirk Smith became the Kirk Franklin we know today. But life with Gertrude was not without its struggles. They faced many financial problems. Kirk often felt sad and moody at home, with only his aunt for company. He described himself as a wild child when he was around other kids, just wanting to enjoy his childhood. Despite the sadness, there were also good moments. When Kirk was just 4 years old, his Aunt Gertrude noticed his special talent for music. She believed in him so much that she signed him up for piano lessons. But getting the money for the lessons wasn't easy. Gertrude collected aluminum cans to earn enough to pay for them. She wanted to give Kirk every chance to grow his talent.
So I started to go to church with her because it was just really her and I, and she would recycle old newspapers and beer cans to pay for my piano lessons.
As Kirk started to learn the piano, he impressed everyone with how quickly he got better. His aunt was always there, cheering him on, and encouraged him to use his gift at church. Kirk joined the church choir, and that's where his love for music really grew. By the time he was 11, Kirk was leading the adult choir at Matt Rose Baptist Church near Dallas. He took charge of all the music for the church choirs. Gertrude's support helped Kirk become the musician he was meant to be. Growing up, Kirk was a church boy. He loved music and enjoyed singing in church. But being a church kid didn't mean he always stayed out of trouble. Like many teenagers, Kirk had his share of struggles. He lived in Fort Worth, Texas, where the streets could be tough. Unfortunately, he found himself getting into trouble often. There was a rebellious side to him that pulled him away from church, and he made some bad choices that caused problems in his life. During this time, Kirk spent a lot of time outside church. He got into fights at school, hung out with the wrong people, and spent time in pool halls. He even tried smoking marijuana and doing other risky things. These choices were not helping him at all. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, a tragedy hit. When Kirk was just 15, he lost his close friend Eric Pounds in a terrible accident. A gun fell from a closet and went off, killing Eric, who was only 17. This event left Kirk feeling very sad and lonely. He turned to the Bible and music to find comfort during this painful time. But sadly, more problems were coming his way. After the tragedy, Kirk went to a new school, Oscar Dean White High School. Things didn't go well there, and he was expelled just before graduating. This was another big disappointment for him. Around the same time, he also lost his great uncle. It seemed like everything was falling apart for him, and it was hard to handle all the loss.
So Gertrude died when I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I found Gertrude in her bed sleep. The fireman found her in her bed at night sleep, and she transit.
But the hardest blow came when Kirk lost his mother, Gertrude Franklin, when he was just 17 years old. This was a turning point for him. Suddenly, he was all alone, with no family to turn to. He had to figure out how to take care of himself. To survive, he took a job as a pianist for his music teacher, Jewel Kelly, and her choir, the Singing Chaparral. Things were tough for Kirk, and it felt like every time he started to get better, something else went wrong. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, he found out that his girlfriend was pregnant. At just 18, he wasn't ready for the responsibility of becoming a father, and this news added even more pressure to his life.
I was very ashamed of myself for the lack of control.
Becoming a father at a young age can bring a lot of tough questions. For Kirk, he had to think deeply about his life. He wondered if he would make the same mistakes his parents did. Would becoming a dad change him for the better or the worse? These were hard things to think about, but they made him look closely at his choices. Kirk's girlfriend had their son, Carrion, but for the first few years, she raised him on her own. It wasn't until 1996 that Kirk decided to step up and be there for his son. He wanted to do things differently. He didn't want Carrion to go through the same struggles he had. He wanted his son to know him and have a better life. During this time, Kirk's love for music and his faith grew stronger. He shared in an interview how important music was to him, especially when life got tough. He felt close to God and realized that he had made mistakes. But he also learned it was okay to forgive himself. This experience taught him that when we truly try to change, we can find forgiveness. Like many celebrities, he has faced his share of scandals and public scrutiny. One of the most talked about events happened in 2021, when Kirk got into a heated argument with his estranged son, Carrion. The argument, which included lots of swearing and bad language, was recorded and accidentally released to the public. This shocked many people, especially since Franklin is seen as a leader in the Christian community. Carrion also made things worse by accusing his father of being abusive, both physically and verbally, when he was a child. This added more pressure on Kirk Franklin, as many people were watching to see how he would respond. Instead of ignoring the situation, Franklin apologized and admitted that his relationship with his son had always been difficult. Thankfully, the two have since made peace and publicly reconciled, showing that even broken family relationships can be healed. This situation made people realize that managing personal issues under the public eye can be incredibly tough.
This is a beautiful thing. You are united with your father. It's beautiful. I need for people to understand, I'm 53 years old. I wasn't looking for a daddy.
Right.
He wasn't looking for a son.
Kirk Franklin's life took another emotional turn when he met his father for the first time at the age of 53. For most of his life, Kirk didn't know who his father was, and this left a big gap in his heart. He had many unanswered questions about his roots. But in the spring of 2023, everything changed in a surprising way. While working on his 13th album, Kirk met a local singer named Nicole Halen. She mentioned a man from Kirk's hometown, Richard Herbert, who said he had been in a relationship with Paula White, Kirk's birth mother. People who knew Richard and Kirk noticed a strong resemblance between them. This led to the idea of taking a DNA test. Kirk was both nervous and excited as he waited for the results. When the test came back positive, confirming Richard Herbert was his father, it was a huge moment for Kirk. He finally had the answers he had been searching for all his life. The first meeting between Kirk and his father was emotional. It was a special moment that moved Kirk's fans around the world. Although their relationship is still new, it shows that love and connection can bring people together, no matter how much time has passed or how far apart they have been. This reunion is a beautiful reminder that it's never too late to find your family.
Until my career took off. And then Deborah and Dwight, the man who I thought was my biological father, they started showing up at concerts. And that pissed me off.
Now let's look at Kirk Franklin's musical career and how he changed the gospel scene. His journey to success started when he co-founded a group called the Humble Hearts. This was a small group that helped Kirk get noticed in the world of gospel music. They recorded one of his songs, and it became a big hit. This caught the attention of Milton Bigham, a well-known name in gospel music. Bigham was the music director for the Georgia Mass Choir, and he saw potential in Kirk. He invited him to lead the Fort Worth Mass Choir in Dallas to record a song called Every Day with Jesus. At just 20 years old, Kirk had his big chance. In 1990, he was asked to lead the choir during a gospel music workshop at a big event. This was a major moment in his career, and it helped him grow in the gospel music world. A year later, in 1991, the Dallas-Fort Worth Mass Choir released an album on Milton Bigham's Savoy Records. The album was called Look How Far We've Come, and it marked a big step forward for Kirk Franklin. In 1993, Kirk took another huge step when he co-founded a new group called The Family. This was not just any group. It was made up of 17 friends from his neighborhood, all of whom shared a love for music and a desire to spread a positive message. They recorded a demo tape and sent it to Vicky Lataya, a founder of a new gospel record label. She loved their music and signed them right away. This was the beginning of something special. The Family's debut album came out in 1993, and it was a huge hit. It topped the gospel charts and even made its way onto the R&B charts. The album sold over 1 million copies, becoming one of the best-selling gospel albums of all time. People from all walks of life, not just those in churches, enjoyed the album. One of the standout songs from the album was Why We Sing. This song was so popular that it even played on R&B radio stations that usually played different kinds of music.
No matter what I go through, you will reach.
Vicky Lataya was surprised by how successful Why We Sing became. They had hoped that R&B stations might play the song, but they never imagined it would become such a big hit. The song's message was different from the usual R&B songs, which often focus on love and relationships. Instead, Kirk's song talked about spirituality and the need for a better life. Kirk Franklin wanted to reach young people, especially those who were struggling. He knew that many kids were lost and needed help. Through his music, he wanted to bring hope and encouragement. The hard work paid off when Why We Sing won the Gospel Song of the Year award in 1993. This was just the beginning of Kirk Franklin's successful career. He would go on to achieve even more in the music world and become one of the most influential gospel artists ever.
This makes no sense because I don't even sing. I want to say that it really doesn't make sense, and I salute the incredible men and women that I'm in the category with, some of the best in gospel.
Over the years, he has won many awards, including multiple Grammy Awards, which are given to the best in music. He has also received Stellar Awards and Dove Awards, which are big honors in the gospel world. Some of his albums, like the New Nation Project, Hero, and Losing My Religion, did very well, often topping the gospel charts. Kirk Franklin has made history in gospel music. He was the first gospel artist to earn a platinum album. His 1997 album, God's Property from Kirk Franklin's New Nation, reached #1, 3 on the Billboard 200 chart. He holds the record for the most Grammy Awards in gospel music, along with the most Dove and Stellar Awards. This shows just how much he has succeeded and how people appreciate his work. His music is not only popular in churches, but has also reached millions of people all around the world. Kirk has worked with some famous artists, like Mary J. Blige, Bono, Yolanda Adams, Toby Mac, and Stevie Wonder. One of his biggest hits was the song Lean on Me, which he recorded with Mary J. Blige and Bono. This song became a success on both gospel and regular radio stations. These collaborations helped gospel music become more popular and respected by people outside of the gospel world. For over 30 years, Kirk Franklin has been touching people's hearts with his music. Many people call him the king of gospel. What makes Kirk special is the way he mixes gospel with other kinds of music, like hip-hop and R&B. This new sound made gospel music more exciting and helped it reach younger people. His style has brought new life to gospel music and helped bring together old and new sounds. Many artists today, in both gospel and other types of music, look up to him. Kirk Franklin's impact goes beyond music. He is about bringing people together, no matter their background. His music has broken down barriers and has made gospel music more popular around the world. Even today, he is still making music, inspiring others, and growing as a person and a father. Kirk does not just focus on his career, He also believes in giving back to the community. In 1997, he started the Kirk Franklin Foundation. This foundation aims to help young, less privileged people discover their musical talents. It offers musical education programs, workshops, and mentorship to guide the next generation of artists. Kirk wants to inspire others to carry the light and hope he believes in. In addition to his foundation, Kirk Franklin has supported other organizations like Feed the Children and Compassion. He understands the importance of spreading hope and positivity in the world, and he actively works to make a difference. His efforts remind us that no matter how tough life gets, it's essential to lift others up and share joy. Kirk Franklin's life is a mix of triumph and trials. He has shown us that even when things get tough, it is possible to overcome challenges with love, faith, and hard work. His honesty about his struggles has inspired many, showing that no one is perfect and that it's okay to ask for help. Today, Kirk continues to make music, inspire others, and grow as a person and a father. His journey reminds us all that challenges can lead to growth, and with the right support, we can overcome anything.